We are live at the moment. I want to greet everyone. I want to thank you for our guest viewers, and also I want to thank you for our guests. We have today the two beautiful ladies all the way from Samoa. One is Tia Maria Pepe Duffy. She is the student of the University of Samoa, studying last year for Bachelor's of Art. I'm not going to talk that much about it because I'm going to give her a moment to, to go forward with those stuff. And Josie Leilua, this is her second year bachelor student at the National University of Samoa as well. But go ahead, Tia, and go ahead, Josie, and introduce yourself. Where are you from?
Thank you for that. First off, thank you very much for having us on this amazing show of yours. Um, my name is Tia Maria Pepe Tafianuni. I am 21 years of age. As one has mentioned, I am studying for my last year of Bachelor of Arts at the University of Samoa. I am from Vaivasitai. Um, my parents are Talingi Fongatua and Tafianuni. And very happy to be here.
Talo nama Samoa o Jocelynette Leilua. Los from May Tausanga Palotawina University of Samoa Papangala. Look Tausanga Lona the Bachelor of Arts, double majoring in history and sociology. I'm from the village of Tulaele, and my parents are Leilua and Tailava.
Yeah, Malola, but no, tato time uti Josie and Tia. I see Anna do filia arts. Yeah, like Tia Bachelor of Arts. I see Anna do filia in nature.
For me, I am double majoring in management and English literature. Because I have such a thrive and just love for, getting to know every individual, the differences, and just learning to manage and just, interact with everyone in the workplaces. It is a skill that I've always thought I had a passionate for. And for English literature, it's just a love for reading and movies and just Shakespeare that drove me to major in English literature. Thank you.
Well, as I'm majoring in history and sociology, there's always this passion in me that I'm interested in society and politics and stuff. So I would like to study history as much as I can, and would like to know about the history of Samoa as a prediction to the future Samoa. Yeah.
Sociology. When did you decide to become one, Josie?
Well, it's all about the society.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had this interest in our Samoan people, where you have to get to know your community. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Malola, are any of your parents one of those? Is it or this? I know Tia. I've heard you mention that one of your passion. And you both are very strong in the youth community, very strong in the youth community. The great and powerful impact they're doing, powerful impact for the Samoan community. As I mentioned on our promotion before, Tia is one of the presenter for the Brown Girl Woke on the TV program, youth TV program every Wednesday. Correct me if I'm wrong. And both of you are very strong, powerful impact to the community of Samoa. And so my question is, are any of your parents are in? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, Lauren.
Oh, loud and clear. Were you being pushed to that, or was it your passion? I think I missed that. I missed your answer because I didn't really hear you. Was it your passion, both of your passion to become where you are now?
Well, thank you for that. There was no peer pressure to join this organization, and just we don't know if we're a strong impact on the youth, but we'd love to be. We'd hope to be also. It's just it was all a thrive, and me as a person, it's just something that I really love, to interact and just be able to help people in any way that I can. And that's what led me here. And thank God for that.
Josie, what do you say about that?
Well, for me, it's same as you. It's it's a passion to, and it's a privilege to be here with the BGW. Well, it's a dream come true.
Yes.
PGW, it's such a great nonprofit organization, and it's really helping a lot of youth. It really is helping a great impact, strong impact to the, especially to the youth of Samoa. It's all over the world, but the founder Doris, she great impact to the youth of Samoa, and these are they're both representative of the also of the brown girl walk. And I give a hand up to the to Doris doing
Yes.
an excellent job, and all of you guys. You mentioned there's no peer pressure.
Yeah.
Which is great. What is the impact? What is the impact of the COVID? Since you're very strong in the community, the youth community in Samoa, what is the impact of the COVID in the youth community in Samoa? What do you see? What do you think?
Well, thank you for that, Luana. As you've mentioned in our Generation for Tomorrow youth show that we conduct every Wednesdays, we've had an episode especially for that, to speak on. We had our youth panel was on. I am part of them as well, where we had the chance to just discuss, what issues that we faced throughout COVID and the lockdown, to us as students. And I like to say that, to me personally, it took a really big toll on me as, someone that was studying. I was really excited to do online classes, thinking it was, going to be, my thing. But apparently, my grades do not agree. Just just studying at home, just all the distractions, the chores, and your bed being right there, and then there was just no structure there. In school there was, you had your schedule for classes, and it was also a push for you to be present in classes. But in Zoom meetings, you can just say an excuse that it was the service, and just go right back to bed. So to me, it was just like the motivation there, and it was just really hard to just balance your life and just being a student, and that was just impacting me.
It's really funny when you say, Tia, sa pa Tia, sa pa Tia, sa pa and you're sitting there trying to focus, huh?
And even on Zoom, your teachers can hear the background. Everyone,
Chelsea, what do you say about that?
Well, I can say that it's common for most of our students. That it's a common issue for every one of us. Well, I have already experienced the great community service work that BGW offers in means of being trained as counselor. So I intend to extend my knowledge in this area on counseling online with other students, like keeping in touch with your friends and others who's in need. So I believe that good and positive mindsets develop new ideas for the betterment of our country as well as communities, and can influence more people to help contribute to greater changes for our country during lockdown.
I applaud to both of you. Josie, you said you're 20, and Tia, how old are you?
I'm 21.
21, 20 and 21.
Yeah.
Still, that is young ages, but big mind. Big mind there with young. I loved it. Okay, I think I mentioned that you both were awarded the scholarship from the BGW Brown Girl Award.
Yes.
Both of you?
Yes, both of us. We are both scholarship recipients of Brown Girl Woke. But before we get into that, I like to just talk a little bit of Brown Girl Woke. As you've mentioned, Luana, it is a nonprofit organization. and that recruits, trains, educates the youth, and also young professionals on critical issues happening in Samoa. We run workshops on counseling, menstrual cycle, violence prevention. We've also done workshops on after school reading for the children, um, and we've also conducted STEM fairs. In the future, we plan to really soon. We are going to conduct. Safety Kids project. That is what BGW is about. But over to the scholarship question, yes, we are both recipients as of this year. Um, and yeah, it is just such a privilege to be here and just to have that honor and just that benefit. And yeah, just one of the many benefits of being in BGW. Thank you.
Mm. Josie?
Well, so the BGW Hardship Scholarship will help me achieve my academic goals so that I can be able to pursue a lifetime career, as I mentioned before, like to achieve my long-term goals. Like financially, this scholarship will enable me to further my education for this semester, because last semester, without it, I would have to lower my expectations of being able to achieve my goals for this year's academic journey. Sorry, with this scholarship, with the goals that I have set for this year can be attainable, and it will drive me to make good use of this opportunity.
Luana, I
Uh,
just like
go
to,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
as we've talked about the impact of COVID,
Mhm.
what led us, me personally, what drove me to really apply for this scholarship was because, as we all could agree, one of the main impacts of COVID on us was financial status and just financial state. Throughout that time, it was just such a struggle where you would question if you want to continue your studies, because you know, I personally didn't want to add on to my parents because work was slow as it is. So, but with this scholarship, and I saw the chance, and I just grabbed it. And as Josie has said, without this, we know who knows, we could have maybe taken like a semester break. Maybe continue on when COVID would like lessen, and just to the pressure of just wanting to make it for your families, and yeah.
As a parent,
Mm.
just listening to what you're saying, you said you did not want to add on that pressure of, to add more financial challenges to your peers, to your parents during the COVID, because that was the time of,
Mm.
and I think everybody went
Mm.
through went through it. And I just want to add on to that, because as parents, sometimes we don't think that the
Mm.
children are going through as well. We think that we're the only ones that are going through, but no, the children are going through as well.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, so this is what a great comment there, and also a great program that you guys are doing on the TV3, the youth program. You also mentioned, both of you also mentioned the reading on
Mm.
one of the
After school.
programs that BGW. Is that an everyday thing? Is that for free? Because you got to remember, not a lot of people are walking around with a bunch of money in their pocket.
Yes. Thank you for that, Luana. We do say 2 to 3 days a week where we conduct after school programs for in primary schools for the children. It is free, of course. We provide lunches for the kids. We also give out maybe books or whatever they need, not only for them but also for their families. And yes, it is just such a pleasure. And me and my colleagues here at BGW have conducted these programs after school for quite a while. And yeah,
What are the ages for the reading program?
um, the reading grade 6, and
Grade
sometimes
6.
we would yeah, grade 6. Yeah, just
Mm.
because we think we just the young ages, it is really good to just tackle them on their reading right at the moment, so that they could to give them the time to just you know develop a love for reading, and just nurture their, love and just engaging in fun activities and just, being able to just love learning and just exploring as just, young minds.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's it's amazing how the resiliency of families all over the world, not just Samoa and all over the world, we always bounce back. We have that in our spirit because we were created in the image and likeness of our Father. So we are very resilient people. And thank God for Jesus Christ. And thank God for people like you and Jocelyn. I want to thank God want to thank for your service to our youth. Let's mention our taboo subjects because you guys are very strong with that, and I know Doris is very strong on, the taboo subjects. I'm not going to mention it, but I'm going to let you guys talk about that. Josie.
Okay. In our youth group, it is where we mostly just explore and just discuss on these issues that we just sweep under the rugs in our families. One of them mostly that we tackle is just sex education in families and just menstrual cycle awareness because just these issues that we do not talk about in families, and most especially mental health. That is just one of our highlights. When we talk on mental health, we give the youth a chance to just, just talk about, their mental state, what makes them trigger, what, how they are feeling, just emotional stuff that we know, even us as the youth, that in our homes we do not get the chance to just, talk about these stuff and just be open about it. So we create these safe spaces just to be able to talk about these taboo issues that aren't talked about in our families.
What do you say about that, Josie?
Well,
I mean, Josie, since Josie, you're not in the program, right? Are you in the program? Since you're not in the program, but I know you have an opinion about these taboo subjects. Did you mention the sex education, Tia?
Yeah.
We don't hear that a lot. I think it's like when you say, "Hey, it sounds like a shh, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Don't talk about that. Don't talk." We are so good at that.
Just so good.
Find somewhere to see it and be quiet.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that to the subject of being quiet. Shh, this is not your time. But I know they can yes, of course, that's the respect. That's respect for our peers, for our parents, for the elders.
Yes.
What is your opinion, Josie, about that? We're always shush. The youth is being shushed away a lot and not giving them a chance to speak about this kind of taboo subject.
Well, that's the issue here in Samoa, like with our Samoan parents. Like they keep avoiding the subject of us talking about like sexual education and stuff, because there's a need to be introduced in schools and to the ages between 15 or something, because most of the issues that rely here on this age gap, because children are confusing the subject, like the adults are confusing the subject for our youngers. Yeah.
So what I hear is that growing up, raising up from parents in Samoa, I have no complaint. I love my parents, and they fussy me, and all of that. I have no complaint. I am where I am because of God and because of my passion and because of my parents as well. But these taboo subjects, like the sex education, I learned it from someone else. We don't even do it in school, right?
We don't.
Yes, of course, there's biology, but it doesn't really mention that. So do we want our children, do we want our youth to learn it from someone else, or we need to learn it from the parents? What is your opinion, Tia?
Thank you for that, Luana. Um, I feel like that's what we are about. We want to, as you mentioned, all big thank you to our parents and just, amazing communities that we grew up in. But like me personally, I feel like these taboo issues taboo topics have led to so many issues. For example, teenage pregnancy, because, you know, as young girls, as young men, we grow up not having just any knowledge. And as you have mentioned, Luana, you learn it from other people. And I guess it was just the peer pressure to just try to explore that on your own, which is really unsafe. And I feel like we should, just tackle these curses and just learn to build safe spaces within our homes and just try not to be open, just try to be open-minded about these topics to just our young ones to be able to, so we could prevent so much of teenage pregnancy if we do this. And I think that's just mainly our aim, is just create safe spaces within our homes, no judgment, just parents be open, and just parents parenting, learning to parent on just so many other different issues. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's contradictions with our culture that makes it hard for our parents to do something about this lots of between the parents and the children. That's why it's an issue for that makes it hard for our parents to speak up for children.
Yeah.
But
It's
with the help
really, I think it's really time. The change is coming. The change is coming, and I can see that, and I can hear you with your voice, because we can't really blame them in how they were raised up. We can't really blame them. It's the people who raised them up. It's you, like you mentioned, it's our culture. Nowadays, it's a totally different era. There's so much going on in the world. We got to learn to face it. We got to learn how to handle it. We got to learn how to cooperate. We got to learn how to face it, right?
Yes.
And I think one of, as a parent as well, one of the things that I know that's major issue that's missing is we took God out of the education system, because you're only going to get that God subject, that subject when you go to Christian schools, right? Like St. Mary's, Chanel, we took him out of the school system. Now we have to face the world system, because there's two worlds that we're talking about: the word of God and the world of God, and the world of the devil. We took the word of God out of the system. I strongly agree that's one of the reasons why. What do you think about that?
Me as someone who was well educated in St. Mary's myself, both primary school and college, I can really say that, and I totally agree with you, Luana, on that. Just spiritual education really goes a long way if you really just balance it with your just academic education. And just with my experience there in St. Mary's, it was mostly, but the spiritual education was there mostly throughout. And I feel like there was kind of a barrier there, and as you mentioned, culture barrier on these topics. So it was kind of, it made it really hard to just mix all together. As you said, it was it was looked at as like the work of the devil, and having that mindset and just coming into university and just finding out all these new things, and you're just like, whoa, like just stuff that you were not even aware of in college. And that's my take on that.
You got to remember, the work of the devil is the suicide as well. These mental issues. I mean, how does what impact did COVID bring into the mental health of the youth in Samoa? I'm not sure. I don't think I asked that question. But what is the impact that did it bring to the mental health of the especially the youth in Samoa?
That is a really good topic, actually. Thank you for bringing that up, Luana. as a youth myself, and as I have witnessed, in friends that have talked to me about, just the impact of COVID on their mental illness, I could say that, first time just being, locked in, just, not being allowed to go outside. It was just like, it just puts you in such a mental state. You were not allowed to go out and just have fun, just all the stuff that you were just used to as a teenager and as a young youth. But now during lockdown, you were told you weren't allowed, because there was this deadly virus around, and it went on for quite a while. It was just for a long time, and not being able to engage with your friends and not seeing your families and years and years and years, and that really just takes a toll on your mental illness, depression, so much anxiety, and just, yeah, just you're just locked in with your thoughts. That's my take on that.
Joseph.
Well, I can say much about uh, impacts of COVID-19. I mean, lockdown during on mental health for the youth. Well, I myself was enjoying my quality time with my family, but I have been depressed over studies because of my time management. Because I totally messed up my time management. Yeah,
Didn't we all?
and I have overdue assignments and wasn't able to complete other assignments as well. Yeah, but I was able to cope with it. Yeah, thank God for that.
Thank God for that.
Josie, I can see you as a politician woman. I can see you as a politician woman. We need leaders with their knees and pray for our country, pray for the youth fervently, not just to, lip singing, lip praying, but it has to be from the heart. We need leaders who are on their knees. And Josie, I can see you. Those amazing topic. I know our time is coming to an end. I'd like to have you guys back. This is another taboo subject, and I know Tia, you try to get away from that. Mental health includes that involves suicidal, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that subject, but I think one of the major issues is the kids are shutting in and don't know who to talk to, right? And what is your opinion about that?
My opinion on that is, as I've mentioned, safe spaces. That's one of the great benefits of BGW is providing these safe spaces for these young youths who have just, nowhere to go. And as you said, suicide. I am I guess we all are big advocates on suicide and just the issue going on in Samoa, because the numbers still are going up. It's either they don't go up or they just maintain the rates, and it is just a sad fact. And it all just goes back to mental illness, and us, we feel like, to be able to reach suicide, we have to look at the roots of suicide, which is big on depression, anxiety, peer pressure going on in families. That's why we just mainly just want to talk to parents and just everyone at home, just to check on your children and make sure that they are fine, they are feeling really safe and comfortable within the environments that you built as parents. I feel like this is one of the major big factors that us, the children, need to be able to thrive. That's my take on that.
Great job, Tia. From a parent point of view, I do have all the children who are in 18, 13, babies as well. And one of my child, started shutting in, and it was you can see that. And that was one of my questions. What are the signs? I mean, since you guys are greatly involved into this, what are the signs do you see? And you can to look for? What are the signs that, to look for the youth?
Thank you for that, Luana. one of the many signs that you can really tell that your child is either depressed or just going through a mental state or a mental breakdown. It's either they, shut you out, they're always sleeping, always just in the room, yeah, really quiet, just not themselves as usual. Um, Really, most of the time we just love to stay in our rooms and just be locked in with our thoughts and just sleep because our minds is just so much around all these thoughts and just, um, you know, we do not want to interact with anyone. Sometimes we lose sleep, we do not eat. Um, and sometimes just a change in attitude and behavior.
Mhm.
You could just see just them getting really aggressive and just like the little things would trigger them and get really mad. It's just one of the things that I really would love to just to let our parents know, if you just see a slight change in your youth or your child's attitude and just how, you just don't see the light anymore. It's just always, in the eyes and everything. Just, do not get really angry and just turn to discipline and just, know your Samoans. We encourage you to just, sit them down and, there's something going on, and just to be able to get it out of them, you don't have to, demand it. Just, make a comfort space and just make them feel like they can trust you. Because even if you're a parent or sibling, it's really hard for them to just be open about it. So do not rush it. It's don't force the progress. It's gonna come out eventually. So just be there for them, provide emotional support always, and yeah, that's my take to you, Luana, as a parent coming from someone depressed and all of that. So
Mm.
yeah.
But one of the reasons why I mentioned one of my child is because during COVID he started shutting in. He started, the way he replied back. It's just one word, but with the attitude, like you mentioned, with the attitude, the eye contact was there. The joy, you can see the joy was just not there. And then, I tried to figure it out. I pray to God. I tried to figure out. He gave me the answer. Just talk to them. Spend time. Spend time. You know what? The change. You can see the change when I started spending time with him. I started talking with him. Oh, it's like turning on the lights. Like
Yes.
that. It's like turning on the light. I started spending a lot of time with him. The light was turned on. So I applaud both of you for your time. And also you, Jocelyn, I really appreciate, both of you for joining in. And also want to mention some last few questions. The workshop that you do with the Proud Girl Walk with the great Doris Dolifau. What are the workshop? Do you think we should have more workshop, around? Because it's not usually you guys do it in town. What about the children's, back in the villages where they cannot afford to come to town, stuff like that?
I apologize for that. We also, our reading programs and even our grocery programs, we have gone to schools way far from town. Of course, we always have to involve each and every one, um, because we understand the situation. Most of them do not have the same access to resources as we do in town. So we would go all the way just to reach each and every one and just to make them feel like they're appreciated and just involved within the community. Yeah.
Mm. I can see Tia Maria as a counselor and Jocelyn as a politician. Good job, girls. That's from Tafa Tautali. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you
Thank
to
you, Pat.
the great Doris Tulifau and those that are joining us to hear these young, beautiful women stories, and I can see their future. Ooh, great future. Well, before we end this program, what can you both, Tia, tell me, what can you say to especially those who are listening, and especially to the youth of Samoa who need help? The shutting in and all of that. Where can they go? I mean, because a lot of them, they don't know who to talk to. They don't know who to ask. They don't know where to go. What can you say about that, Josie?
Well, I was about to break down about the peer counseling services that we provide for our youth. During lockdown, I've been reaching out to most of the students that I've seen on Facebook uh, with complaints, and yeah, they usually
Yeah.
post something, but I usually reach out for them because we are a group of trained youth with passion of speaking hope into people's life. Our vision, mission, and values are counseling services. We provide student-centered mental health services, advocacy, outreach, and consultation to promote psychological well-being and academic success. Well, we also assist the university community in providing the optimal environment in which students can learn. Yeah,
Mm.
like we have different platforms to reach out for them, and you can find me also on Facebook and yeah, Instagram and whatever platform of social media you guys are using.
Yes. Um, my take on that, Luana, would be just just something to tell someone that's on the other side of the screen that relates to this, or even a parent that's watching. You know, we hope that our insight on mental illness and just taboo issues that's going on. I hope that you have, um, just understand just the feelings and emotions that we are going through, and maybe it'll help you with your parenting. Your parenting skills, and just to be able to just reach out to your children and just build safe spaces and comfort and just get to know them as individuals, because wanna as we grow up, we are not the same person as we were when we were 4, we were 5. That's why I urge you, just talk to your child, just check on them, what's going on in life, what's trending today, what's going on. Yeah, good communication really does go a long way, as you've said, Juana, and we applaud you as youth. As you as a parent, just working with your child and just trying to get through him, and we are so happy to hear the result that you have reached. That is such just great parenting. What I would also like to say to everyone watching here, um, just as Juana has mentioned, it's a change of time. It's not 1986 anymore. I mean, we love our culture, we love our religious beliefs. Yes, but like technology and everything, the world is moving, and we have to move with it too. As much as we want to just avoid that, it's happening. It's gonna happen. And just improve ways to just learn your child, and talk on these issues that you think is just so bad, and they're gonna learn it. It's either the internet, or they're gonna watch it somewhere, or someone's gonna tell them eventually. So why not just teach it at home? Why not just introduce it at home? Because that's where your child develops. That is what you call it, the first school, their first school. That is where they learn everything, where their mind will develop. And why not do that? Why not break the cycles? Why not break the culture barriers? Why not just build new communities? Because in the future, I guarantee you, we will have much more emotional developed youth, and just a lot of awareness. Just so we could tackle all these issues with suicide and just teenage pregnancy going on. And I myself, just and if you are someone who wants to make a change in the world, I myself have always been someone who's really big, whilst has spoken on my Instagram and my Facebook, and I really hope that my friends that have watched me progress on there are watching this, and have just learned from this, and just be able to just interact with everyone. I love that I have these even random people just message me and just tell me everything that they're going through. And it's just really a shock to me. Like, how can you tell a stranger? How are you comfortable communicating to a stranger your issues when you have so many friends around you? That just says so much. It says so much about what's going on, and it's just a sad fact. But also, I am someone that loves to help. I like to think that we've made some impact in the lives of the youth, and it's just passion. Everything is just passion. When you love it, we love it. It's just not a job. It's just who you are. It's just molds into your personality, and we'd hope and we thank God for just this organization, to Doris, to our manager, our founder, and just to you too, Luana, for just your impact. And we've seen your great work. We thank you for that, and just to having us on here to be able to talk on these issues once again. Just thank you. You try to make a change to the world step by step, and also, yeah, thank you.
Amazing. So we in the future, probably by the end of this year, we would love to have you both back on our program. It's always good to have this kind of talk, and like you mentioned, communication, coming from a parent, communication is one of the key. One of the key, I mean, you have to, as a parent, this is to the parents, you have to be the safe haven to, for your children. And this kind of program, like Tia and Josie mentioned, the PGW is a safe haven for a lot of youth that are in Samoa and also in the whole world. I don't know how far they're going around the world for the PGW, but if you are listening to this, if you're going to watch this later on, and if you're going to hear from someone else about this program, this PGW is one of the safe haven for you, the youth, or anybody. Even not just the youth, for any, it's a safe place for you to talk to, anybody. I mean, just listening to a 20 and a 21-year-old, I mean, their mind are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These are the kind of people that you can open up to. You can tell that there might be great parents in the future, and they're safe haven for you if you have any question.
If my mom is listening, it's not anytime soon. Not just.
But see, that's one of the things, sometimes the youth run into, I have this boyfriend, I have this girlfriend, blah, blah, and all of a sudden they break up and they think it's the end of the world. Come on, it's not the end of the world. And then all of a sudden you get, stop. And I'm going to say this word, stop. It's not the end of the world. Okay, and I want to thank you. And I also want to shout out to the beautiful Doris for the great work. I mean, amazing. Look at what you're doing. I know it's their passion to do the work that they're passionate about, Tia and Josie, but the addition of you as a safe haven to them and as a mentor to them. I mean, I can tell the great job that you're doing to these young women. These young women. And so I want to shout out to you, and I want to thank you for what you've done to the youth of Samoa, and and all your help to the community as well. But Tia and Josie, I'm going to give you this last moment to go ahead and give a shout out to anybody you want to shout out to.
Thank you for that, Luana. A big shout out to our founder and our manager, Doris, just for this platform. For us to just be able to, advocate and just have access to all these resources and all these people, which is really helpful to us as the youth. And also a shout out to our team here at BGW making it happen. Ooh, let's go, boys!
Yay!
Just the helping hands behind BGW, they make it happen. I'm so privileged to be able to be working beside them. Wish we could have them on the show as well. They are just, making changes and making moves and making it happen. And thank you to them always. To all my parents, I hope I have made you proud. I hope I did not trigger something. I hope me not thinking about these is, but I am really grateful. I am, just to be blessed with just the mind that to be able to help everyone. It all comes down to parents, and of course, first of all, Heavenly Father, thank you so much, Papa God, for the gift of life and just the gift of passion and hearts and love, because with dedication, you can do so much with everyone else. And also to you, Luana, and the great work that you are doing here. thank you so much also for providing a safe space. And also, as a mom, we applaud you. Thank you so much for that. It takes a lot to reach a parent, and with you, thank you so much for the work that you've done. I think I've said thank you so many times. Um, but yeah, just shout out to my friends, my cousins, my jokes. Yeah, my family in general.
Say it,
Or
say it. Josie, Josie,
Well,
go
for
ahead.
me, it's a shout out for Doris for giving us this opportunity and for the PGW for keep inviting us in for workshops and stuff. Um, a shout out to my parents for their support and accepting everything that I would have to pursue for my future career and stuff. And it's a shout out for my friends for giving me motivations and people around me, everyone. Thanks a lot for your support and for trusting me on going through my path. Yeah,
yeah, wonderful.
and for everyone for watching, please.
If only I can talk to your parents and I can tell them you have done a great job. You have risen up these young women, beautiful young women with big, beautiful mind. I'm a great supporter of the PGW. I think 2 years ago we raised up some money from the Shims of the South Pacific to give
Mhm.
out. I think it was around 3 scholarships for the students, and I want to thank you to all the donators and all the supporters of that scholarship. We're also going to do it again this year, at the end of this year, and I already have a huge plan for that. And Doris, I didn't want to tell you these, but now I'm already mentioning it online. Oh boy. Doris, I'm a big supporter of you and the program. And of course, we're going to go ahead and do I'm letting you know now that we're going to do another fundraiser at the end of the year for, to support scholarship, for our youth in Samoa, But I want to thank you both for for your, for sharing your stories and for your knowledge and your wisdom and the support, just big support. The support. I mean, you can, but the way you guys is speaking. I mean, you're going along. You're going a long way. I can see that you're going to be a great counselor, Tia, and you, Josie. I'm looking forward. I am so looking forward for that politician woman. At the end of the year, before the fundraiser or during the fundraiser, I'm gonna have you both and Doris to come up and have a talk again, share something with us again before the end of the year. But I want to thank you again. And also want to thank you to all our viewers, our listeners, week after week after week, who are supporting us. But I want to thank you, and I got to get off the line because our time is up. But I want to thank you, both of you, and we're looking forward to talk with you again before the end of the year, okay?
Look
And
forward to it.
everyone, have a blessed day. Maria and
Girl power.